Well, here again, we're back together for another attraction marketing, and this is one that we have spoken of in the past. And as you know, I'm going to, move through this material reasonably rapidly so that we can have a little conversation towards the end. Unmute everybody, but I love this picture. It's the legislative center for the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which at one time was one of the largest empires in the world, located over in Budapest, Hungary, on a beautiful, beautiful river that Karen and I have traveled in two directions. One's from Budapest all the way south, ending up in Istanbul, and then another time from Budapest north, ending up in Prague. And one of the things that we've always wanted to do is travel, see the world. That's been one of the affirmations. And so this is a very appropriate image, and it's that nighttime image of this beautiful castle-looking building on the banks of one of the most mighty rivers in Europe. And we are talking about the subconscious mind, and the premise is that we're living in a mental universe, right? So if we're living in a mental universe, then mental transmuting one mental vibration to another must be the most important element that we can master, the most important thing that we can do. If we are indeed living in a mental universe, nothing is more important than controlling our minds. And the truth is, what we learn in this book, and hopefully you're getting into the Kabbalion, is that the substantial reality, in other words, the truth that underlies all outward manifestation and appearance, which we know as the material universe, everything around us, this glass, this table, this desk, the computer screen, all life, all matter, all energy is indeed spirit, or another word for that is infinite living mind, the all, right? Infinite intelligence. So this phenomenal world, our universe, is actually a mental construct, a mental creation of the infinite living mind of the all. And so if we are indeed living in this mental universe, if we live, breathe, and move, then our being, our entire existence is on a mental plane. So what do we do about that? How do we come in harmony? How do we cause the things that we think about to be created on this mental plane? Well, first is to understand and master having the knowledge of the laws of this mental universe. So if the universe is mental and it's substantial, it's a substantial reality, then it is an absolute given that mental transmutation, in other words, shifting one thought to another, must change. In other words, this is how we influence, how we change the phenomena of our personal universe. How do we do that? Well, the mind, our mind, not only infinite intelligence, but finite intelligence, our minds are the highest power affecting this physical world. You hear all the time, well, you create your own life, you create the world that you live in, and to a very, very real degree, that is the truth. You look at someone walking down the street all hunched over, sad, depressed, and they have created a very, very small and depressed world, as opposed to somebody shoulders back, chin up, smile, greeting life full on. They've created a different reality. So if you want to design your life, it's necessary to control your mind, and that's all done by decision. So today we're going to cover the dual nature of the mind, the fact that there is a mental law of gender, the I versus the me, I and the me, conscious and subconscious, how we implant our thoughts into the subconscious. And again, we're going to revisit vibration, such a critical element. Always mindfulness, always remembering, and then importance of vibration. But we know that this energy that penetrates, permeates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe is evenly distributed everywhere, and energy is. It just is. Now, we can do anything that we want with that energy, so it's critical that we understand the dual nature of the mind. There's the conscious and the subconscious. There's the part of our mind, and we're going to be getting into mental gender, all right? And gender permeates all levels of reality, all levels of existence. So we'll be talking about this principle, but suffice it for right now to think of the conscious choosing part of the mind, where you get to choose your thoughts as the male positive dominating polarity, all right? And then there's the emotional aspect of mind, which is truly the creative aspect. It's the most magnificent. It's the part of the mind that does the real work, all right? And it's always on. It's always functioning. And the thoughts that are implanted into this part of the mind are what move our bodies into action and relate to infinite intelligence. And it's those actions that cause our conditions, circumstances, environment, and results. So very, very critical to understand this dual nature of the mind and how it works. And we talk about this law of gender. You know, everything has its positive and negative, yin and yang, light and dark, hard and soft, dominant, receptive, controlling and flow with. It's just the nature of all, and we tend to think of it as our species as the male and female sex, and that is certainly part of it, but it's more appropriate to think in terms of the mental aspect of gender. You know, the masculine energy, the masculine, forceful, dominating, seed planting, the feminine, receptive, creative. And that is this law of gender, and it's in everything, permeates, penetrates everywhere, and it manifests of all planes, including the mental plane. So this objective male aspect, it's the head part of our head that dominates the subconscious, which is the subjective, the female aspect. So how do these two work together? How do we get them to come in harmony to produce the things that we want? You know, it comes along with this concept of the I and the me. You know, the I am so happy and grateful. The I am stands apart. The I am is separate and is split from the me, right? The me is different, but what we have to do is learn to have this split duality of mind working in conjunction, even though they are separate and distinct from one another. Now, many people mistake themselves, the me, as my body conscious. I feel I feel sick today. I must be in a disease state. I feel old. I feel lack of energy. It's a me identification, a body consciousness. My shoulder aches. I must hurt. Right? It's the part of us that our tastes, our preferences, our mental and emotional states, and yet the I stands above, stands separate. It's the observing part. It's the part that we can just simply follow our breath or learn to repeat an affirmation to begin to program. So the I is the part that makes us understand the me is not the body. It's the I am that is the important, controlling, dominating part that we want to cause the me to act along certain creative lines. And so it's important to understand in this distinction between the conscious and subconscious. The subconscious feminine principle is the generative, creative aspect, and it's where concepts, ideas, and the creative imagination reside. Now, unfortunately, most people go through life without using the male dominating aspect to choose their thoughts, to use this is the part of the mind where cognition and reason and both inductive and deductive reasoning take place. The part of the mind that can choose thoughts, the part of the mind that can implant thoughts consciously. Instead, most people go through life being buffeted by the thoughts of others, and only by continued attention to a subject and actively employing both the mental aspects can you really stimulate and energize the creative portion of the mind. So why do we repeat affirmations over and over? Why do we energize them? Why do we emotionalize them? Why do we stay with them? Because it's the only way we can begin to really control our minds. And so implanting a thought into the subconscious is critical, but can only be done through repetition and can only be done consciously. Because if it's not done consciously, you're subject to the whims, the feelings that you're receiving from others. Now, feeling is extremely important because it's the only thing that causes an idea to become emotionalized. Now, one of the things that is important to understand about the subconscious, it doesn't have the ability to choose. It never changes an idea that it receives. It has no ability to consciously choose. That's the male dominating part. The subconscious outpictures the image and likeness of the feeling it receives. Why do you have to feel? When you feel, oh, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm in possession of the thing that I imagine. That's how you bring it, call it, attract it into your life. The conscious mind has got to be actively and intentionally employed in order to plant the desire and the image into the subconscious. Now, vibration is so critically important because without it, you might as well just not do it, right? Without vibration, without emotion, without the feeling of love, and there's positive and negative vibration, and you've got to be vibrating on the positive scale: love, hope, belief, faith, joy, the abundance, the feeling of magnificence flowing to and through you. It feels so great, right? When you feel that, when you feel, I am so happy and grateful now that I am. That feels good, right? And so you've got to feel that way. And by assuming that feeling, then what you're doing is you're already attracting and realizing your desire, okay? So to think feelingly on any state is what impresses that state on your subconscious. So do not allow yourself to go to the negative. Do not allow the monkey mind to jump from positive to negative. Polarize yourself to the positive polarity. See and feel yourself already in possession of the things you desire, and combine that image with that feeling of gratitude. And guess what? You can't help but attract it. So why do we repeat? Because, what's going on is your mind is constantly flipping a coin. It's coming up heads, coming up tails, coming up heads, coming up tails. So you got to decide to consciously polarize, because what's going on, if you don't repeat your positive affirmation with feeling, what's going on then is you're being hit by all of this other input that's deprogramming you, that's bringing what you don't want. So, why do you have to do your affirmation 60, 70, 80 times? It's got to become like breathing. It's got to become such a dominating thought that you're controlling, polarizing, magnetizing, staking your mind to where you want it, other than allowing it to be influenced by the thoughts and these random thoughts of others. So this polarity of the mind is done within the feminine aspect. This is why you have to plant that seed over and over. And the will is lodged in the masculine part. And unfortunately, most people allow this part to remain inactive, dormant, unused. It's a shame. It's a waste. And yet 99% of the population would rather die than think. Thinking is required. it requires thinking constantly over and over again. The only, you know, it's only constant, deliberate repetition can you train the mind. Can you use both male and female aspects of the mind together for the creation of the desired outcome? And an active and regular repetition of a personal affirmation is the best way to do this. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am, you know, over and over and over as you breathe, as you walk, as you drive, as you pick up your groceries, as you take the dog out, as you clean the kitty litter, as you cook your breakfast, as you put mayonnaise on the sandwich for lunch, as you rotate the meat on the grill, as you take your laundry out of the dryer, as you walk up the stairs to run up to pick up a glass from the bedroom, whatever. Always just use that, program yourself. Write and memorize your own affirmation, repeat it, study. You've got to gain knowledge. Take responsibility for programming your own mind. Pay the price. And go to Online Success Bootcamp. I commend you for being on these attraction marketing calls. They're a reminder, as are the replays, as are the daily marketing emails, which I must get back into writing. I've taken a hiatus and enjoyed reading a science fiction novel for the last month. I've played hooky, and I will be back forcing my monkey mind back into productivity once again. And we do want you to be a part of the Wealth Creation Mastermind. It is where we come together for the conscious co-creation of a team of 1 million strong by January 2020 for the express purpose of leading others into lives all around the world of freedom, meaning, prosperity, filled with physical, spiritual, and intellectual abundance by following and employing this creative method that we learn. And affirmation is the heart and soul. Thanks for being with us. I really appreciate your time and your participation.